The 3 Ds of conversion under coercion. For the personality transformers, a major early objective is to destroy the identity using the 3 Ds of conversion under coercion. That way, it is then much easier to rebuild or repair that breakdown into what you consider a desired outcome. Debilitation. Keeping you in your house for weeks without a firm end date. Taking away other essential functions for normality and threatening to take away things and people you love from your circle. Taking away your ability to earn money, live and survive. Dread. Made to feel it might go on forever, but it constantly changes so you can't get used to it. Make it so that you won't know when something will happen, topped off with worry of impending virus and death. Dependency. Realising your fate lies with your captors, thinking that the only way to make them stop or let you go is to comply with them. You hope it will get better. And this is where hope can become a very misleading thought process, because while you are sat back hoping for better, worse is appearing before your very eyes. How some people don't see it astounds me. The surveillance measures that are being proposed to deal with a strain of virus which has a 99.7% survival rate, and in the UK the average rate of death with it is now older than the average age of death generally, and is part of a group of viruses we have known about for quite some time, is just extraordinary. And now the hostility that appears to be happening online between generations of families is hurtful to behold. I have a very split family, with people disowning each other left, right and centre going back decades, so I know it happens anyway. People are standing their ground, on both sides, and are willing to lose everything for it. But which side is right? They both think they are, but while they are squabbling with each other and now blaming, hating, accusing each other of various things, the true puppeteers of it all must be laughing their heads off. Shit stirrers we used to call them, and occasionally I used to be one in school, because I was bored and understood how easy it was to cause a ripple, as they say. It was surprisingly easy to turn people against each other, or to start a rumour to see how fast it travelled around. But very quickly you grow out of that. You learn it's called playground tactics for a reason. Because for me, I decided that those were lessons in life, myself, in people, and behaviour. But now they are destroying family units, networks and generations of empathy and love, being distinguished and replaced with hate and contempt. I can't help thinking it has become its own monster now, and will follow its path of destruction, because that is what people do, or appear to have done. We do not just recognise and acknowledge the wrongness, we gravitate towards it, discuss it and indulge it. I can't help thinking a speech in a recent movie I watched nailed it to me. It's a corny film, and I guess this speech is too, but it meant something to me, and my thoughts of how much better we could be. Let's imagine, if you glimpsed the future, you were frightened by what you saw. What would you do with that information? Who would you go to? The politicians? Captains of industry? And how would you convince them? Data? Facts? Good luck. The only facts they won't challenge are the ones that keep the wheels greased and the dollars rolling in. But what if? What if there was a way of skipping the middleman and putting the critical news directly into everyone's head? The probability of widespread annihilation kept going up. The only way to stop it was to show it, to scare people straight. Because what reasonable human being wouldn't be galvanised by the potential destruction of everything they've ever known or loved? To save civilization, I would show its collapse. But how do you think this vision was received? How do you think people responded to the prospect of imminent doom? They gobbled it up like a chocolate eclair. They didn't fear their demise, they repackaged it. It could be enjoyed as video games, as TV shows, books, movies. The entire world wholeheartedly embraced the apocalypse and sprinted towards it with gleeful abandon. Meanwhile, your earth was crumbling all around you. You've got simultaneous epidemics of obesity and starvation. Explain that one. Bees and butterflies start to disappear. The glaciers melt, algae blooms. All around you, the coal mine canaries are dropping dead, and you won't take the hint. In every moment, there's the possibility of a better future. But you people won't believe it. And because you won't believe it, you won't do what is necessary to make it a reality. So you dwell on this terrible future. You resign yourselves to it for one reason. because that future does not ask anything of you today. So yes, we saw the iceberg and we warned the Titanic, but you all just steered for it anyway, full steam ahead. Why? Because you want to sink. You gave up, and that's not the monitor's fault, that's yours. But it almost seems as though we are confused, and the ideas they are pumping us full of are not in the right direction, are not from a place of peace and prosperity at all. They are from a greedy, selfish and controlling section of society who are introducing ever more startling and sinister forms of control. Once they separate us mentally and physically from each other and hook us up to their creation, we may not have the choice of being ourselves anymore. And maybe the truth of the matter is that many people didn't like themselves to begin with, so what they are offering does seem attractive. But time and perspective will deal people a cruel blow here, because it is only with those two will you know if you have made the right choice for yourself, or if it was right to hand over all your choices to them, letting them decide who you got to be. Lots of people build their identity around their family, work, friends and interests. Through those things, and time and experience, you usually find yourself or who you think you are, and often can help in maintaining what people call your sense of self. So take away those things, or change or restrict them, and to me you start to disrupt the sense of self, which then leads neatly into starting to tinker and tamper with identity and personality, ending very deliberately in converting someone's thought process to your desired outcome. Sometimes people don't even know they are being coerced. It can be done very subtly. It usually starts to fall apart when other people question it though, which is why it is very important to keep people away from others. Lockdowns, bubbles, restriction, or it leads to anger and odd behaviour because people can't explain why they feel the way they do. They just do. I more than most do understand someone not having the language to articulate themselves to explain what they feel. That is different. When someone doesn't have a coherent argument or valid point to dispute, they will often then get angry or annoyed, start calling names like mental or selfish, and try to use emotional blackmail to get their way. If you don't do this, then you can't do that. Because it is not just what they think they believe you are questioning, it is their very sense of self, which can be quite unnerving when suddenly highlighted by mere words from another person. They think they are asking you a question, but in fact, the whole shell of the person has just started to crumble with that question, but they are unable to communicate that effectively. I hope that people who are picking either side are at least doing so with the full possession of what facts are available, and that you know without any doubt in your heart that you are right, that you have made up your own mind, whatever that may be. Make sure they are your thoughts, your ideas and your conclusions. This is your life, and as far as I am aware, you only get one.